you have this image of a happy relationship and you think that's the truth. I always thought that if the relationship was intense and there was a lot of passion, that was a healthy or happy relationship, and that was the happiest a relationship could be. And so that was what I was searching for, and that was what I was having doubts about, whether my relationship was passionate enough and was my feelings were intense enough. And what I completely missed were the signs of an actual happy relationship, which I figured out when I interviewed 100 couples happily married over 40 years, and I heard things that I didn't see in the movies. So what I then figured out was a few things that I had never paid attention to, but that are very important. So first of all, stability. Stability is a sign of a happy relationship, and I think if you would have told me that 10 years ago when I was in the crash state of my fearful avoidant attachment style, I would have thought, oh, that sounds boring. That just sounds boring. Even though part of me was craving it, that really didn't sound very exciting to me. And I think it also felt uncomfortable because my relationship was stable. My relationship with Aryan was stable. And that was the interesting thing about doing all those interviews with people, with couples happily married for over 40 years. I had this image of what I thought marriage or love should be like, and what I had with Aryan, who is now my husband, then boyfriend, that wasn't it. And during those interviews, what they described again and again, I was like, wait, but I do have that in my relationship with Aryan. I have that too, and I have that too. And stability definitely was one of those things where I thought, okay, well, we do really have a stable relationship, but it felt like that was the safe choice. And in movies, the safe choice is always the wrong choice. And it felt uncomfortable, like I was missing something. And that was what I was so afraid of, that there was this other person that, could make me feel so much more things. But I was actually just uncomfortable with the stability of the relationship. And what I was missing were the highs and lows of the fearful avoidant attachment style pattern. So stability is the first sign of a happy relationship that you might miss as a fearful avoidant. You might take that for granted. You might even think that that's a bad thing, but it's a good thing. It's a very solid base to grow and deepen your relationship. Then the second one is friendship. And this also, I thought that Aryan felt like my best friend in a way. And oh man, the hours and hours and hours and hours of thoughts I had about this, thinking, but friendship, that's not good. And what if we are just friends, and shouldn't he just be my lover? And it was almost like those feelings of friendship were threatening to me, because I felt like if we are too much just friends, then we have to break up. So when the couples that I interviewed told me again and again that a happy marriage is like 90% friendship, I was like, whoa, that's so different than what I thought it was. I thought it was like 90% passion and 10% friendship. But no, again and again, they said, no, it's the friendship is the base. And the stronger your friendship, the stronger your relationship and your marriage. So I definitely missed that one. I also thought that that was a bad thing, that we were such good friends. And now we've been together for almost 14 years. Can you believe that? Oh, gosh. I can definitely say that our friendship is what has gotten us through parts that, where we were struggling, or even in the phase of the whole fearful avoidant crash state. It was our friendship that got us through. And having a small baby, there's not a lot of passion. And friendship will pull you through there too. That's what a lot of couples said also. So friendship is just so important. It's so important as a foundation, as a base for your relationship. And it was definitely one I missed. Then the third one is receiving love without having to work for it. Another one that I thought was not good. I thought Aryan was just too sweet, too kind. And it sounds crazy, right? Like, can you be too sweet, too kind? But it just felt so uncomfortable that I didn't have to work for it. And because of that, the love that I did receive from Aryan didn't feel real. It felt like he couldn't really mean it. He was just a good guy that said all these nice things, but he didn't really truly mean it. And that was because I was so used to working for it, working for attention, working for approval, working for love. And receiving love without having to work for it is definitely a sign of a happy relationship. Otherwise, just imagine you for the rest of your life working to receive love, working and working. It's exhausting. I mean, life is so full already, and life is amazing, but it has good parts and it has bad parts. And if you always have to work for the love that you want, it's very tiring, and it's hard to then receive love in the moments that you need it most, when you feel weak, when you feel vulnerable. So yeah, I also saw this one as a bad thing, that it was so easy to receive love from Aryan, while all the while that was actually a sign of a happy relationship, because that's unconditional love. When you receive love without having to do anything for it, that's unconditional love, and that's what you deserve, and that's definitely a sign of a happy relationship. The fourth one is them allowing you to be who or whatever you want, and to do whatever you want. And Aryan definitely had this. He really just wanted whatever I wanted for myself. And for so long, that felt like he didn't really care. Because what I was used to was that somebody then would take over and do it for me or tell me what to do. And that felt like love to me. But that's not love, because we are all responsible for our own happiness. Thank God, because that means you have the power over your own happiness. And so you are responsible for figuring out what makes you happy, what you need, what you desire in life. And your relationship should just provide space for that. But to me, it felt like Arjen didn't really care if he didn't like jump into action and just completely did it for me. And I just recently did a workshop where we analyzed the Notebook, which is just, that's a whole different story. I could make a video on that. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like that. Because there's a lot of interesting things, especially attaining to attachment styles in that movie. But one of the things is that she, Ali, has a fiance, Lon, and that is the good guy. That is a safe choice in the movie. It's really obnoxiously portrayed that way. And then you obviously have Noah, Ryan Gosling, and this particular bit was about her wanting to paint. So Noah just kept asking her, "What do you want, or what do you like to do?" And she, at some point, says painting, and then she says to Lon, I want to paint more. I don't paint anymore. And Lon says, okay, go ahead, paint. Do whatever you want to do. And Noah goes ahead and just sets up a whole easel and buys her all the painting supplies that that town probably has. That is portrayed as the romantic thing in the movie. And I can do a whole video. I can talk hours about this, but it's always portrayed. I'm just gonna keep it at that. That's the romantic thing to do if somebody like takes over and just buys everything for you, even though that is also so manipulative and just so controlling in a way. And what Lon was doing was actually unconditional love. Like, of course, if you want to paint, go paint, do it. You are responsible for what lights you up and what you want to do, and going after that. You are not going to have a knight in shining armor that is just going to figure that all out for you and then provide it all for you. That's not a healthy dynamic at all. So that was definitely what I believed in. That was love, and so I felt like Arjen didn't really care when he said that I could just do or be whatever I wanted to be. And now I think, gosh, that is just so incredibly loving. He never had a certain image of me, of what I had to be or what I had to do. He just loved me for me, and I get to decide whatever I want to do. And I truly believe that whatever I do, whoever I decide to be, he would be okay with that. And there's so much freedom in that and so much love in that. But it took me a while to be able to receive that, because I was just used to the complete opposite, that I was just told what to do and what to like and how to be. So yeah, that's love. That's love for sure. Allowing you to be and do whatever you want to do. And then the fifth and last one is being messy and vulnerable together. I so wanted to look up to Aryan and have him be perfect and suave and knock me off my feet. And that doesn't allow for true emotional connection. We have talked about this before, where the fearful avoidant has a tendency to either look up to people or look down upon people. And a big part of why you do that is because when you are looking up to somebody or looking down on somebody, there's no possibility for connection because you're not on the same level, you're not equal. Being vulnerable and messy together, not looking up to somebody, not looking down on somebody, gives that possibility, that opening for connection. And that's what the fearful avoidant is so afraid of. So it's very convenient to want to look up to somebody, because then there's no possibility for true connection. And being messy and vulnerable together, you do have that possibility of being of having a deep connection. So I thought that he had to be perfect and he had to be charming and he had to know everything, and only then would I be in love with him and everything would be fine, because the more I would feel, the more secure I would feel or know that this was going to be forever. And now I know that being messy and vulnerable together, that's just, I mean, there is not even another way, because nobody is perfect. That guy that seems so suave, that girl that just seems so charming, they are also just people. And they are also messy and they are also vulnerable. And with messy, I mean also messy and like they have human emotions, they have human fears, they have humanness. They are humans. So nobody is so perfect that you won't ever have to deal with negative feelings or negative emotions. And the good thing is you don't have to, because that's not where connection is. That's not where love is, in perfection. Love doesn't need perfection. So being messy and vulnerable together is amazing. And that also means that sometimes you get annoyed and sometimes that your partner triggers you, and that's fine. That's also what a lot of the couples said, which was just mind-blowing to me, because also that you don't see in the movies. You don't see any really long and happy relationships in the movies. And when you do, one of them dies, because that's then the tragedy and the drama. But they told me that again and again that, yeah, they got annoyed with their partner and sometimes even kind of like really didn't like them or had no feelings at all. And these were all things that I definitely did not associate with a happy marriage. But yeah, it's all part of it. It's all part of being human and having a relationship with a human. So as soon as I accepted that and allowed Aryan to feel more like an equal, with all his good sides and his bad sides or challenging sides, it allowed for way more connection and therefore way more love. So these are the 5 signs of a happy relationship: stability, friendship, receiving love without having to work for it, them allowing for you to be or do whatever you want to be or do, and being messy and vulnerable together. These are the 5 signs I completely missed as a fearful avoidant, and you might miss them too. But now you know, and that's good, isn't it? Were these eye-openers? Let me know in a comment below. So the online program Healed and Happy is going to, I'm so excited. And the fact that it has a name now makes it more real, sort of. I don't know. I had that too with my daughter when we had a name for her. It was like, oh my gosh, it's a real person. She's really coming. And I have that with the program now too. So Healed and Happy is launching August 4th. And I will also upload a video on that day with all the where you have to go, what you have to do, in the description. So just keep an eye on this program, put yourself in a wait list if you want to be updated by email, and then the doors will open. I got butterflies in my stomach. I am not kidding you. All right, so let me know in the comments below whether you recognize any of these 5 signs, whether you maybe missed them too. And I will see you in the next video, which is probably going to be next Tuesday. So there's going to be a video, an extra video. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's been extra videos. And there might be even more in the future. But now we're posting 2 times a week. So Tuesday is another video, and then Thursday is the video about launching the program. I will see you in the next one. And as always, I am so happy you are here.